Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now last week we talked about why it's great to be single, but obviously being single is also one of those things that I personally, well, firstly, I'm not single anymore, and secondly, there are more people who come to me kind of asking for help finding ways into relationships or ways to maintain relationships or whatever else, rather than how to get the hell out of one. I mean, there are a few that have, but most people might, if that's been the kind of situation, it tends to be more those people will come to me after a breakup and ask for help with making a way forward. And so the thing that I want to kind of touch in on today is the benefits and why of being in a relationship, and why being in a relationship absolutely rocks just as much but in different ways than being single. But obviously I've got a little bit more information on this because of the number of people that actually come to me about it, the number of people that want to come and discuss it with me, and the things that I kind of get into around it. And so let's take a look at benefits as a whole. Like these are kind of across both male and female, or both sides of a relationship. You know, you've got a lot of stuff that comes in around feeling more secure and building confidence, because obviously you can now be more confident because there's someone else being confident in you as well. It can often lead, at least over certain periods of time, to improved health, in terms of the fact that you're both looking to improve and take care of each other and work with each other, and as a result, like, you may not get sick as often, you may actually improve in terms of fitness and things like that. You know, there's a more incentive to do so. I mean, obviously there's that element of you impress each other early on, and then afterwards it's less to do with impressing each other, and it's more like there's more comfort, and so as a result, yeah, you might not be as fit. But I'm not necessarily talking fitness purely, I'm talking health, where if you've got someone actually there to look after you, you know, you're going to get better faster. You know, there are positive health effects for both men and women as a result of things like being close to someone, physical intimacy, stuff like that. And then obviously, you know, there are the other kind of less obvious ones, which happen more in healthy relationships and maybe not so much in unhealthy relationships, where you know, that you've, thank you, Siren, god damn it, almost every video now, the Sun has brought out the criminals, or got more people hurt apparently. Anyway, back onto the topic. We've got the kind of shared memory element, where you're able to develop happiness in the past to then improve happiness in the future. And then also, you know, if you're in a good stable relationship where you trust the other person and they trust you, and you're good at communicating, which is so core to relationships, then one of the things that you're likely to do is kind of bring each other back from the brink, correct each other's biases, kind of push away negative conclusions that don't have any grounding, or that you've jumped to in a very kind of premature fashion, you know. And so, you know, where you've got someone who's going to question you, call you on your bullshit, knows you well enough to know when you get upset and how you react to it, and then how best to help you. You know, these things all allow you to shrug off those more negative things that lock you down, that get you stuck, that cause you problems. You know, there's someone also to kind of be a bit of a cheerleader, to kind of big you up and cheer you on as you're doing stuff. And so, you know, those are kind of benefits that sit across both male and female. But obviously there are benefits that are specifically focused towards kind of men or women. And so let's take a look at men first, because there are actually a few more of these, I think, than the ones that are kind of specifically female. But there are a couple of interesting ones there as well. And so, you know, one of the first ones for men, as I've said before, is very much kind of a boost in health and so on, but also there's a boost in testosterone and dopamine specifically that contribute to things like attachment and lust and happiness, but also they help your body recover, they help your body build. I mean, testosterone is very much kind of a natural anabolic, and so as a result it can be very, you know, if you're in love, if you're focused on being in a relationship, if you're very much kind of close with your partner and working together on things, then that boost in testosterone can potentially help you just get fitter, improve your health faster, just because it's there. Yeah, there's a reason why things like testosterone supplements and other anabolics are used for bodybuilding and stuff like that. This is a very natural and positive way of increasing that amount of kind of neurochemical and or hormone in your body to kind of allow you to push yourself further and to get better results. The other thing is, most there have been numerous studies that have found that men who are married and who have had kind of better relationships, or relationships that have given them kind of more focus on driving themselves forward within that kind of environment, have done better. They live longer. They have much greater prospects in regards to health, because they don't they don't have that kind of risk taking. I'm going to drive fast, get into fights, drink a lot, do whatever the fuck I feel like, because they've got that anchor. They've got that thing holding them in place, which allows them to be maybe a little bit more cautious, still take risks, but not necessarily to the same degree. And as a result, overall, women don't do those things as much, and as a result, besides the fact that they just seem to live longer anyway, on top of that, they don't take the risks that will put themselves in harm's way, whilst guys tend to live more hazardous lifestyles. They tend to gravitate towards more stressful or hazardous careers. And so as a result, looking at it, when they've actually got the anchor of a relationship, one that they actually want to be in, one that's solid for them, then there's that really significant element of being held in place and attached to that, and as a result you fight harder. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't take the same risks that would put you in harm's way as much. And then like the last couple of things for dudes tend to be much longer term happiness, because it's usually the case with breakups. The guys in the short term will have an easier time of it, but then guys in the long term will have a more miserable time, whilst it's very much the other way around for women, where they will have a miserable time in the short term and then it will be a much more easy time in the long term. A guy in a relationship, though, that has a much more kind of bigger impact. It's a much more kind of steady growth of happiness over time, purely because that's the way that dudes work. Dudes work long term in regards to emotions, whilst women tend to work much more impulsively on emotions. And there's a reason why there are stereotypes that exist around these ideas, but on a kind of general rule, long-term marriages are found to have greater levels of satisfaction, greater levels of happiness, very strong positive effects that kind of follow along with the health changes. Obviously, if you're going to be more healthy and you're not taking as many risks, and you're not lonely, you're not stressed out as much, you've got someone there that's bigging you up and cheering you on, then it kind of follows through on that, and the happiness just kind of builds up over time. Whilst the kind of jump across for women now, if we take a look at those, is that women maybe don't get as many benefits. There is a health component to it, there is a drive component to it, but a lot of it with women who already live longer and who on average, and who already kind of have that gravitation towards less risk taking and stuff like that. These kind of elements of being in a relationship are very much more social and emotional. And there was actually one interesting thing that I came across here, which was a study by Dr. Andrea Meltzer from 2015, where her and her researchers from Florida State University and Northwestern University sought to investigate the possible benefits of sexual objectification. And they found, in brief, that over, I think it's 2 or 3 different experiments of various sorts, with maybe not the largest sample sizes. I mean, I'm seeing numbers here of only 100 or so But it was interesting to see that even though they came from all kinds of backgrounds, and they were heterosexual couples as well, it kind of came into sexual objectification from or in this case they term it as valuation. So a woman in a long-term relationship with a guy who she feels is committed to the relationship, is going to actually gain positive boosts in regards to stress relief, in regards to her opinion of herself, in regards to general confidence, in regards to health as a result of these things, all down to the fact that if they think that person is that their partner is committed to them, they say that they're more satisfied with their relationship, and they're saying that the kind of sexual valuation or sexual objectification of them by their long-term committed partner actually gives them a boost. And you can kind of understand where this has come from. It's not necessarily that surprising to you, saying that if you're in a long-term relationship and your husband finds you attractive, and you know that your husband finds you attractive because he's super committed to your relationship, anyone could say that that's something of a boost. But to me, at any rate, this kind of puts that spin on all those people who complain about sexual objectification, where it's just purely bad all the time. It is a grey thing, that it has both goods and bads to it. And one of these is a substantial thing within long-term relationships. So the benefits of a long-term relationship, especially or more potently for women, is the confidence boost, the health boosts, the stress relief, and so on and so forth, around not just having someone that they're in a relationship sexually objectify them, but also it has to be someone that they feel is committed to the relationship. So it's very much about commitment and stress relief and emotional kind of fulfillment almost, and happiness with women, whilst there are much more long-term emotional elements, but much more in the way of health benefits to one degree or another for men, especially considering that it improves their lifespan potentially quite considerably. But anyway, guys, those are some of the broader benefits. What else would you add to the list? What other benefits are there? I mean, I mentioned loneliness and the avoidance of loneliness very briefly there, but obviously that's a big thing for a lot of people. I know full well that when I was single, and I was single for a very long time, then the loneliness was one of those things that kind of crept up on me and kind of set in, and was one of those things that I unfortunately at times didn't know how to handle and acted out on in a kind of foolish way. And so, with that, the being in a relationship does just let you shrug that off. But obviously, as I said in my last video, getting into a relationship, having the confidence around that to actually make it work really well, those things are really kind of interesting to touch on, purely because it's almost as if getting into that situation, getting into the relationship, making that work, almost revolves around not caring about a lot of stuff to begin with. And obviously loneliness in and of itself, that huge negative emotion that can creep up on you when you're left alone, that has an awful lot to do with caring. So, there's the getting rid of one by not caring, and then moving on into the things whereby you never need to worry about it again. That's maybe more of a thing than it is, and maybe I'll do another video on that at some point in the future around loneliness and moving away from it, and how to tackle those kind of issues. But as said, please let me know what you guys think and what else you would add to this list down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting or useful, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.